The room was silent. Not because there was nothing to say, but because no one knew how to say it. A federal agent held up a USB drive, dripping wet from the glass of bourbon it had been hidden in. The investor beside him, pale and shaking, stared across the room at the man now being escorted away in handcuffs. Micah Lane, Silicon Valley's newest darling, smiled as if it were all part of the plan, and in a way, it was. 2 weeks earlier, the Las Vegas Strip pulsed with light and energy. Inside the sleek, high-ceilinged halls of the Mirage Convention Center, the world's most powerful venture capitalists had gathered for Synapse 2025, the bleeding edge of tech innovation. Micah Lane, 32, was the name on everyone's lips. Young, polished, and sharp as a blade, he was the CEO of a stealth mode startup called Neurovia. His pitch was everywhere, the next evolution of human-machine interaction. But no one really knew what Neurovia did, and that was the point. Micah floated from booth to booth, panel to panel, keeping his answers vague but exciting. "It's going to redefine personal autonomy," he told one investor. "Think smarter than Siri, more human than ChatGPT," he told another. Behind his charm, behind his rehearsed lines and tailored suits, Micah was hiding something. Not just from them, from everyone. Micah hadn't always been this polished. 2 years ago, he was a nobody, a back-end engineer with a gift for pattern recognition and a darker gift for manipulation. While consulting for a data firm contracted by the government, he stumbled upon something big, a behavioral algorithm that could predict human actions with disturbing accuracy. Micro-movements, speech inflections, online habits. He tweaked it, sharpened it, taught it to listen, watch, and learn, not just from data, but from live surveillance feeds. Micah didn't want to sell this to the government. He wanted to own it. But he knew the truth. No one would fund a startup that sounded like a privacy violation. So he buried the algorithm deep inside a harmless-looking shell, a personal productivity app. He called it Clara, marketed it as an AI assistant that would learn your habits to optimize your day. What it actually did was study your patterns to predict your next move, and in the right hands, control it. At Synapse, Micah unveiled the first teaser for Clara. The demo was slick, a voice assistant that remembered, adapted, and even anticipated. He dropped buzzwords: emergent learning, contextual automation, adaptive neural modeling, that sounded impressive but explained nothing. The crowd loved it. Investors swarmed. Journalists speculated. He held back just enough to stir curiosity, not concern. Only one person didn't buy the act: Celia Tran, a seasoned tech journalist turned investor. Mid-40s, razor sharp, no patience for smoke and mirrors. "I want to see the code," she told Micah after the pitch. Micah smiled. "We're not ready for public review just yet." Celia narrowed her eyes. "You're not building a personal assistant, you're building something else." She was right, and that made her dangerous. Micah invited Celia to a private suite that night. Drinks, charm, flattery. He knew how to play her, make her feel like a co-conspirator instead of a threat. He didn't lie outright, he just reframed the truth. "This thing could make us invisible to the noise," he said. "No more guessing what users want. Clara knows." By the time the night ended, Celia wasn't convinced, but she was intrigued, enough to hesitate. That was all he needed. The next day, Micah closed a $120 million seed round. The term sheets flooded in. Celia didn't invest, but she didn't blow the whistle either. She needed more proof. Micah knew the attention wouldn't last forever. The more people dug, the closer they'd get, so he accelerated the rollout. Within a week, beta users had Clara on their phones. Feedback was glowing, but in the background, Clara was feeding behavioral profiles to Neurovia's private servers. Micah had deals lined up with security firms, political campaigns, even foreign data brokers, quiet backdoor partnerships masked by shell contracts, until one of them cracked. A former client, spooked by what Clara knew about his personal habits, contacted the feds. It didn't take long for an undercover agent to install Clara, trace its packets, and link the app to a much more sinister purpose. That brought us back to the room. Las Vegas, arrests, headlines, and Micah smiling. Because even in handcuffs, he still had the algorithm, still had the knowledge. And somewhere on a cold server in a jurisdiction with no extradition treaty, Clara was still listening. Micah never lied. He just never told the whole truth. He concealed his real intentions, not out of fear, but strategy. Because he understood something most people don't. When your true purpose is too powerful, too risky, or too disruptive, you don't announce it, you hide it, until it's too late to stop. Conceal your intentions. Never reveal all your cards, distract with smoke, mislead with mirrors. The strongest moves are the ones no one sees coming.